Dead Air Hardcore Radio, exploring the world's best hardcore punk and all the various subgenres. For the next 2 hours we will enter a world apart from the rest. The time is now.
Stand to the side, be by the hardcore ride. How can you save me when you can't save yourself? Ready to fight.
Yo, what's up with that? Let's start jamming.
All right, what's up? Episode 89 of Dead Air, 2 hours of hardcore radio. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it bedless today. You might hear a little bit of. It's that time of year, so if you've been with us, you might hear that fucking lawnmower in the background. Even though everyone should be social distancing, I know a lot of people in my neighborhood are just fucking over it. It's just a fucking weird time. It's been a month. I've been at reduced work at this point for exactly 1 month. It has been 1 month since anywhere that I've worked like that is bar oriented for my security job is now. I have not stepped in a bar, which I wouldn't have if I wasn't working, but fuck it. I haven't been to like the Capitol Hill area in a very long time. Just recently went to pick up a check, and it's very weird. It was less weird than I was. So there's videos everywhere. Like, I'm sure any local city, this is happening where they're having the GoPro or the drone fly through your empty city, and I'm just like. My thing about that is it could be just about any, like, that could be any city. Like, that could be any time, like, that's, like, dead. Just, like, you could do that any, like, dead time. When I went there, I think it was, like a week ago. It was a Friday night. There was a lot more people than I was expecting. Not a lot, but still, there's people walking around, people playing in the park. It was weird. And there's still, like I said, there's a ton of people still walking around, and like people are getting pissed about it. But as time goes on, I think that opinion's starting to fade. I'm not 100% sure, but we're gonna keep it strictly music because that's all. Like, I mean, it's hard not to mention what's going on, and I'm sure this will be even mentioned when, because it's going to be, even when things open back up, it's going to be gradual open, and things are still it's going to take a long time till things are back to what it was like a month ago. So welcome to episode 89. This week we're doing all Dog Years Records releases. We have Chris from Dog Years who we're going to talk to in just a few, like a minute or so from now. We're going to play Dog Years Records. We're going to play some deep cuts as well. Stuff that you may have not heard. A lot of you may have heard the Underdog 2. I think we're going to skip a little bit of that because I think a lot of people have caught on to Underdogs again through that. So we're going to strictly play a lot of tracks from the new Underdog record, which came out just about two and a half weeks ago, I think. Rise of the Alpha Dogs is out now for you to pre-order. I just pre-ordered a copy today. Got that fucking stimulus, baby. And they're going to be out. It told me it'd be out like to your house once you order it no later than late June, which is, a nice little, summer surprise. You'll probably order it while you're doing some online shopping, and then it's just going to drop in your mailbox one day and be like, oh, fuck, this is dope. I'm excited about it. I have a tape player. I'm gonna paint up and customize because it's a fucking old one from my childhood, and I'm just like, it's just been sitting there. So I'm excited I'm getting a few tapes that I'm gonna rock and put that in my little corner of the apartment. So we played a couple tracks off of the. We started off with a track from the Rise of the Alpha Dog, the newest one. We played the first track from Fom, who part Denver, part Tacoma, singer, lives here, like not too far away from where we broadcast, and just a really all around just fucking good band. We talked about it when MJ was in. There's a lot of those early 2000s parts that really remind me of like very American Nightmare-ish stuff. Like I know they played with Modern Life is War, and I know there's a lot pulling from that earlier part of that decade as well. And it's just more of the faster stuff and really shows. So it's really good. Fom, Time Is Now, played that record. It's really good. It's a really good song to start off the comp. And I know that is the first of many more songs to come from the band. So I'm very excited to see where that goes. Also, I'll say this a couple times. This is also going, all proceeds will be donated to Races. You can do Races Texas on Instagram. And this goes to money for people who, for refugees, immigrant families. It's a nonprofit to help people who are not getting any money during this time, unfortunately, who deserve it, and hardworking people who deserve to be here, who are getting fucked over because of immigration and because of just what's going on down there. Just because we have COVID-19 doesn't mean, the ICE problem goes away. Doesn't mean that there's still, not people in detention right now and people separated from their families. That doesn't go away. So that is something we also need to be mindful of, that there are still problems that are still there and still going to be there after COVID-19. And COVID-19 it might be the main thing on our mind, but to people like this, it's just another, drop in the bucket for the problems that revolve around being, a migrant. So anyways, donate to what you can. I think it's an awesome thing, on top of just being Dog Ears being mindful of what, what's going on in the world, they're very good at picking new bands. And we're going to talk a lot about that. So I'm going to shut up and we're going to play the next song, and then we're going to let Chris say what the fuck he wants to say. We're going to play a band, which is, I've said this over and over, it's one of my favorite bands of the year. Come out with an awesome release on Flat Spot. Just bought a tape from them, and it's End It. We had Akil on the phone like three or four episodes ago, and I just love his vocal style. And like we said in that episode, just gets in and gets out and just attacks the fucking mic. Also attacks it with aggression, but also some fucking rhythm in there, and it's really good. I really like Akil's take of on his hardcore vocals. So big fan and definitely one of my favorites. So, and Raw Dog is definitely one of those tracks that it's another just fast fucking song. It's under a minute, 49 seconds. So literally in 49 seconds, you're going to hear from Chris in about. So we're going to get to it. You're listening to Dead Air, 2 hours of hardcore radio.
Hardcore punk fucking.
No,
that's my shit right
Hell
there.
yeah, yo, that's the only way to do it, man. It's that boom, boom, boom. Yeah.
Wake up in the truck room, headed to the south. Fully middle razor, to the war possible. Gotta take a piss with it, you moving like a gun. So you linger in the silence, cause nothing can you stop. I can't blame the alcohol, chemical reaction. Looking for love, baby, I just want some action. Can't blame the alcohol, chemical reaction. Looking for love, baby, I just want some action.
So I'm going to just start getting us going now, because
let's do it.
Because I will have to start heading to work in like a little over an hour.
Holy shit!
Essential worker right here.
Awesome. What do you do?
I am a security guard for.
Oh shit!
For a pretty popular independent radio station in Seattle. That if you follow music, you will, in general, you've probably seen a video or two off of one of their live sessions on YouTube.
That's awesome.
So it's pretty cool. It's actually like a pretty relaxing place to fucking work for the most part. And during this pandemic, only one time so far, I had a dude it just out of nowhere, it was probably just on crack. I saw him, there's like a little fountain area, and he stood on a ledge, the windows, it's basically a glass wall, see right into the building, stares right through the building and charges it. And then and he starts banging with hand and fist. And then he tries to open locked doors, goes to the next locked door in the alley. And then I say, "What are you doing?" He's like, and then he just calms the fuck down, and he's just like, "Oh, I was just looking."
Oh, there's someone here.
He's like, "I was just looking." And then
my god.
And then he runs away and tries to do it on the other side of the building, and then he disappears. And then
it's unreal.
But besides that, it's been a good time to just chill, and I've been streaming. I finished all of Tiger King in a shift because of that.
Oh yeah, that's a quick one though.
It's a really quick one. I don't know,
especially because you can't stop watching it. It's just so insane.
Have you gotten to the point, maybe because we're in the quarantine, I'm tired of people talking about it already?
Oh yeah, definitely. The thing that I'm tired about is people like complaining that people shouldn't watch it. Like people are like, "Oh, you shouldn't support that show. You shouldn't watch it." Like he is so mean to those animals. He's done such bad things. And I'm like, y'all, you guys all watch like fucking murder shows about serial killers and you like worship those serial killers. Like no one's saying that this guy's a good person. Like we're just watching a show.
It's a documentary, dude.
Exactly. Like there's freaking History Channel documentaries about worse people. Like, come on.
So,
Yeah.
Chris, Dog Year Records. I think the last time I heard you in a podcast format, you said you were one. Oh, damn. People blowing up my fucking Facebook. But the last time, like I heard you in like a podcast format, you said you were one half of Dog Years, or are you now one? Are you still half, or are you the whole Dog Years at this point?
Technically, I'm 1/3 now.
Oh, you have more.
So,
you have expanded.
yeah, we've expanded. We brought the guy who owns it, I guess you could say, the guy who started it, Dylan, my partner, my best friend. His girlfriend Demi also helps. So technically, there's three of us.
So it's a family business.
Yeah, except they're located in Chicago, and I'm in Springfield, Missouri. So it's quite a bit away. So we just like do things remotely.
So to give a brief, like, give us the brief, like, just summary, just the timeline,
The history.
Give us the brief history
I'll do it like a, what was that, Spark Notes or whatever, where it's like real short. Okay, so like 2010, Dylan bought a tape duplicator from a church rummage sale. A few months later, me and some friends started a band called Big Mouth. We were from Springfield, Illinois, and then our friends in Milwaukee started a band that was Focus Minds, and
Focused
we were
X Minds.
Yeah, towards the end they called themselves Focus Minds though. So, Focus X Minds.
I'll always remember the X.
I'll never forget it. We both put out demos around the exact same time, and we were like brother bands, is what we said, because like we had our first shirt designs I did, so like they were the exact same design, they just had different colors. The album art was similar. Like we were like pretty much a brother band. So Dylan, we were all friends, and Dylan put out those two tapes as the first two Dog Years releases, Big Mouth being one, Focus Minds being two. And then he kind of just started the label with that. And the name Dog Years, I didn't know this until like I want to say it was like a year ago. I asked Dylan, I was like, I never asked, why did you call it Dog Years? And he said it was because when they were at This Is Hardcore with him and John from Focus Minds, they were talking about how old someone is in dog years by straight edge, like how long you've been straight edge in dog years. And he just thought dog years was cool, so that's what he used it. But yeah, so he put out those two demos, and then he was going on vacation somewhere, and at the time he was just duplicating for other bands. Like if you needed tapes made, he was going to make some for you. And he made some for Warhound, and I ended up doing the tape layout for it, and he asked me to duplicate them while he went on vacation. And so I duplicated them and sent him, I think it was for the Rumble or something, in 2010 or 11. And he just asked me, he's like, hey, you want to help me with this? And I was like, yeah, for sure. So ever since then, I've been a part with him. So that's how it goes, basically. We've been putting out stuff every now and then. Started with tapes. First record was a Warhound record. And our first LP was last year, and that was the Jocko Expression LP. So it's pretty nifty.
And y'all have been making a lot more buzz, I think, since the second Dog Years comp.
Yeah, we took like a little break because I had my first son, so we kind of took like a break. Every band that we had on our active roster like broke up, and I was like, oh, I don't want to go searching for more bands right now. I've got too much stuff going on. But like the whole compilation thing is something I always liked doing ever since I was like I got into music because of compilations like the Warped Tour compilation, the Atticus compilation, like Punkorama, stuff like that. Drive Through Records comps, like so I was like, I want to do another comp if we come back. And around that same time that we announced that we were going to do like the second comp, we had a couple bands approach us, and one of our bands got back together, that being On Point. So that was kind of what geared it. And there was definitely like a sudden, like a burst in hardcore social media. And, and like Dad and I talk about it all the time. Like a lot more support on Instagram and Twitter with bands again. Like how that used to be in like MySpace era where you were always posting about your friends' bands. You see that a lot more now on Instagram and Twitter and stuff. And it definitely helped promote that compilation, getting all the bands that we had on it. So that was that time.
Yeah, and I would say like it's just cool because like there are hardcore comps like so much they're like with like you kind of cited a lot of stuff and it's also like kind of the sign times because I think you and me are kind of close to age. A lot of people.
Yeah, how old are you?
I'm 31.
Yeah, I'm 30. So I turn 31 next month. So that's perfect.
Yeah, I turned 31 in February. I'm starting to lose my mind with timelines, like of
Yeah,
current time.
time is super weird right now.
Current. I literally, as far as like time is concerned, I want this whole year to just fade away. Can none of
Yeah,
us?
just like a reset or something.
Yeah, can none of us age at all? And just
Yeah,
like
I want this year back. Yeah,
I don't mind being 31, but I don't want to be 32 and like be like, because these are years to make the most of what you got. And I'm like,
exactly.
and I'm like, I can't make the most of fucking anything right now.
Yeah, no one's doing shit.
I'm like, I'm trying to get out there, and I'm like, before I get too old and want to just stay home all the time. I mean, I already want to do that a lot, but I'm just like, I'm trying to fight the urge.
Now that you have to physically, you cannot leave. You're like, oh shit.
Like, I want to fight the urge, but fucking COVID-19 has other plans for
to punish us
for the rest of humanity. But like,
Yep.
a lot of people will cite like really awesome, like the New York hardcore comps, and like I just finished watching the doc on that, and I think that's really cool. But like comps that got me into other hardcore bands was stuff that had like punk and hardcore adjacent stuff.
Exactly.
Like I found the Banner through a Warped Tour compilation.
Yeah, exactly. Those old Warped Tour compilations were amazing.
And I know some people wouldn't. It might not be the cool thing, but like a lot of people of our age became aware of hardcore through lanes of the internet and Warped Tour, and like kind of dove into specific lanes because of that.
Exactly. And at that time, like whenever we were growing up, Warped Tour was really like that was like really
That was the
what
big
was it
thing.
called? Yeah, it was huge at the time, and it was also there was a lot of skateboarding involved with Warped Tour at that time. Like the music, like that culture in general was very prominent with all of those compilations, and like the Tony Hawk soundtracks and all that stuff too.
And is that kind of the approach? Because there is that approach of wanting to be a tastemaker, but also there's the approach of just like of those New York hardcore bands of just like getting finding those connections, just like straight up asking bands, "Hey, you want to be on a comp?" Because I feel like
Oh,
there.
I definitely think it's more of the whole like trying to find bands that not everyone's talking about kind of thing. Because I know this sounds cliche, but being from the Midwest, it is very fucking hard to get noticed for anything. Like not as hard as it used to be, because a lot of the bands that are out now are huge because of that, like Inclination and all of those bands. It's like there's a lot of eyes on the Midwest now, but you still have to work really hard unless you know someone. And I think that was what the main goal is why we took those. We were trying to find bands not everyone's talking about. Yeah, there's some smaller, like some bigger bands that people are talking about, but not enough people are talking about them. And I think that's the main reason we focused on those type of smaller, harder working bands.
I think the second one, like coming at, definitely, I think it helped. What in your mind was like, not that you want to like, because they're all like, when you make a comp and you have a lot of bands that you care about, it's all your baby. But was there any ones that like surprised you of like bands that have gotten bigger since the comp?
Oh man, that's a good question. There's a lot of bands that really took off after that comp, like Live Force. They were starting to get a name for themselves, but after that comp, I feel like they signed a New Age. Right after that comp, they got like a 7-inch deal from another label, and then signed a New Age right after that. Like they definitely they got some eyes on them from that, and I'm friends with those guys, so it was really cool to see. Uh, and then let's see, of course, like I'm Time and Pressure. Those are my friends. Like I grew up with a lot of them. Not like grew up, but like we were in the same scene. I lived in St. Louis for what, or near St. Louis.
Okay, that might
Like
be the big one, like in my mind the biggest one.
yeah,
Thinking
like
about it, because that band is like James and them. They don't even like. I feel like they're very humble in the way they just don't they don't they don't consider themselves like. I mean, they're not the biggest band, but they don't.
I definitely think that that's because of where they're at. They're in St. Louis. Like it's another one of those things where you're in a city that is used to working hard, and I mean Red Bait is on there too, and that band they're on New Age and they work their asses off too. Time and Pressure. Uh, it's just crazy. Like Direct Measure. Well, they were called Brute Force at the time. Uh, they're they're working on new stuff. There's just a bunch of bands on there from small towns and cities in the Midwest that are really just getting out there. It's awesome to see.
Yeah, Terminal Nation was already like getting
Oh yeah.
was already had a good buzz, I think, around the time. And
Oh yeah, I've known Stan for a while too. I did one of their tape layouts, and I knew whenever I was working on Underdogs too, I really, really wanted them on it. And as soon as I sent him a message, he's like, "Yeah, dude, we already have a song recorded that we haven't put on anything." And I was like, "Oh, perfect."
like half the bands there's like I would say yeah, exactly half the bands have members have been on this program as well, like cuz just like through looking, through listening to
Yep.
comps like this, and also just like I try to keep the same ear as you. Like I thought
Ear to the ground.
it was pretty cool just cuz I was like, fuck, this person knows, like, is on the almost exact same wavelength as me, because like 2018 I had like Red Bait, Dying for It. I mean, of course I've known Devin for a long ass
Yeah.
time, so like Rejection Pack was a no-brainer. One that I didn't like catch on to as much until seeing them in Seattle last year was Low End.
Oh yeah, that band is super good.
I think they're
That's
on
another band I've known all of those guys for so long because uh, one of the members was in a band called Smashed In, and those guys, I think my old band played with them, so I knew them from that. And they were all friends with Focus Minds and stuff, so I knew them before they were in bands or anything like that. They were just like young kids coming to shows. So it's pretty cool to see them. Like they were in Stone, and that we all know what happened with that kind of situation. And so it was cool to see all of those people make something of that stuff and make Low End.
Yeah, that was a good comp. And right after that, you like not too long, Jocko, like the signing for the Jocko record happened, and I've talked to those guys too, and I'm excited to hear like newer material because what they have is
their new
interesting
7-inch their new 7-inch is really good. I'm excited about that and excited for people to hear the rest of that because they have 3 more songs that we haven't released yet, and they're so good. I just wish this like COVID-19 thing didn't happen because it's really putting a damper on timelines and stuff.
I know they were going to be here. They were going to be here this month in Seattle, and I was like, before COVID, I was this close to, because I was going to have them I was going to do a whole video thing of them playing in the studio and shit, and I was going to ask them.
Awesome.
They don't even know that, but I was going to ask them to do that. Eventually, if they come back, that's what I'm going to do, because
they'll definitely be back.
I really fucking like that band.
That band rocks.
And then they did the single, and now we're to Underdogs 3, Rise of the Alpha Dogs. There's a lot of bands that have already been. This one, like, has a lot of bands that have been like upped a lot, and I think like Gel. That's I mean, with the SSD cover, like that makes sense.
Classic.
I think they had they had like a big video of them doing that recently. Like,
I want to say, it was. I think it was this. I think the singer did it with Youth of Today or something like that.
I thought they had. I can't be certain. I think Ray, Mr. Capo was did some vocals. I think somebody else did too. I'm not 100%.
Yeah, I definitely know the video you're talking about.
And I know like people were sharing that shit around. And
that was awesome.
And on top of that, Hardcore for the Freaks. That shit
exactly.
was
for the freaks.
That shit was perfect. I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
A good like end of the decade style record. Fun.
I'm not exactly sure how I found them. I think it was like Anthony or one of the members. I think it was Anthony. Where we were on the Axe to Grind Facebook group together, and they like shared it there, and I was like, "This is awesome."
R.I.P. Axe to Grind Facebook group.
Yeah, that was such a bummer.
Well, that No Echo one is kind of taking the place.
Exactly.
Which is cool.
Exactly. I love Carlos.
So, yeah, Joe. I really like Gum has some catchy shit. I don't think I listened to the whole thing on this. So I'm gonna have to re-listen to some of this because I borrowed my girlfriend's like portable stereo to realize it was like one of those really bad bootleg ones from Amazon, and I was just like, all of this sounds like it's in a fucking garbage can. What's going on? Like, so I was like, some of it didn't sound as good as I was expecting. Just because it was like, oh, okay, this is. Then I re-listened to some of it. It
sounded like it was coming out of a tin can.
Yeah, that was kind of the vibe.
Definitely have had one of those before. It's not good.
No. But I've liked Gum's stuff as well. Just some catchy weird punk.
The Weirdos.
I love it. I need to re-listen to Placeholder because the stuff I've heard previous of them is really fucking good.
Yeah, it's kind of like Kid Dynamite, Lifetime style stuff.
Exactly. Catherine from FOM lives here in Tacoma.
I did not know that.
Yes.
That's crazy. I thought she lived in Denver or
The
something.
rest of the band lives in Denver, I believe.
I knew that. Yeah.
The rest of the band, but Catherine lives here, not too far. I've another person who's supposed to have been on the show, but never, just hasn't made it. It's weird that I can get people from, halfway across the country, but sometimes in my own fucking town,
It's hard. Yeah.
it's so weird that way. Another cool track from Jocko that's like,
Yeah. That one's
I don't know.
so good.
I don't know which. I like both of them. I want to listen to both of them the new ones back and forth because
Just you have to listen to once the record comes out, you have to just get some time and listen to the record straight through. Like it is just perfect from front to back and it flows so well. I can't I'm so excited to release it.
I think this might be a big one for the label. Could be.
I hope so. I hope so.
I know a lot of people talk about Chemical Fix. I gotta listen. I gotta listen to that. So.
Hello?
Oh, I'm here.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear what you said. It kind of cut off.
It's all good. We're gonna move on. One of my favorite bands that I've heard released this year is End It. I love that band.
Oh my gosh, the band is so good.
Akil is a good fucking, just fucking cool as shit.
Yeah, he rocks. I did 3 shirt designs for them, and I was really excited to actually post them, but they were saving them for something, and then that thing got ruined because of COVID, so I was really bummed. But they're still printing them. It's just going to take a while for them to post it. I'm really bummed about it.
What else? I've listened to Gadget prior to this, Gadget XXX, Head Count.
Yeah. 17-second song, but it's so good.
The previous members of Drug Control, which was a very underrated
Oh
band.
yeah, that band was awesome. Yeah.
Extremely underrated.
I feel like Drug Control was on the first Underdogs comp, but I don't remember.
Check band. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know if I.
The first one had some pretty big bands on it. Some bands that went on to be pretty big.
Oh shit! Yeah, It's been a minute since I listened to this. I didn't.
Yeah, that came out 6 years ago. I think.
Holy
5 years ago.
shit! This one is a fucking. It's. I remember listening to it when it around when it came out. I forgot about it 100%. Fuck,
Yeah, I think it was 5 or 6 years ago.
Peace of Mind before they got a little bit big before that. A band
that was actually a different Peace of Mind.
Oh, different Peace of Mind. I didn't.
That was a band from Chicago who ended up changing their name to Peace of Mind, like PEACE. So the Peace of Mind from Tulsa started 2 months after this came out. I was like, oh man, whatever. But yeah, Peace of Mind from Tulsa rocks.
Drug Control was on it. Purgatory,
Yes.
who's way bigger on the East Coast than it is. It just for some reason,
Oh yeah,
it just doesn't.
It just hits on the East. Yeah,
It hits on the East, doesn't as much on the West, or at least
Northwest Indiana and Chicago, and the Gary, Indiana area. That's where it hits real good. And then it hits on the East Coast.
You got some old Northwest hardcore on here with a single from Safe and Sound X. It was released as a single, I believe.
Oh yeah.
I
forgot
forgot what that fucking. I forgot. I've toured with that band. I forget what that fucking song sounds like.
I'm trying to think. Orthodox was on there, I think.
Yep, Orthodox. I'm looking at it right now.
Who else was on there?
Wait, Dev's old band? Damn.
Yeah, we put Dev's old band's tape out. That's how I knew him.
Okay.
We put Alone out.
Yeah, Alone was on. They came through when we were at the actual radio station back in 2014. It was the first
I
live
think
set.
I remember that. Yeah, I think I shared that. I think I remember that.
First live set I ever did, and it went very bad because even I had a dude who was doing a lot of live sets at the time, who was doing a lot of like recording for hardcore bands, and for some reason, like he couldn't even really get it figured out to where we could even hear the vocals. And I was just
no.
that scared me because I was like, fuck, if this guy can't make this work, I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to do a live set here.
Then I'm screwed.
Then I'm fucking screwed. But eventually I got it down. I don't know. No, this studio in Tacoma, for some reason, everything sounds a lot better here. But also I was doing those sets live. So like,
Yeah.
So I was scared, and I was like, whatever we got. It was, and Vulgar Display was fucking
Yeah, that band was cool.
underrated.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's a little snapshot of the past looking at the old comps.
Didn't I think they toured to the Northwest and then never came back. And then I know they're still pretty revered by some people in that.
Oh yeah, they're huge in Texas.
Yeah, I know. I feel like I talked to a Texas band about it too. Don't remember though. We have also Cross Me was probably the biggest one on here.
Yeah.
Went on to Bridge 9 and did some big shit for a while.
Members of Low End.
Yep. The band was pretty fucking good. They I think they kind of, like, obviously they somewhat peaked around that 2015 era and then just...
Yeah.
But...
Well, they went through like 3 different vocalists.
Oh, yeah. I know one of them ended up here in Washington.
Yeah, that was Chris from Focus Minds.
Yeah, and he... They did a band here that was...
Yeah, what was that called? I was trying to remember.
Payback. Payback.
Oh, it was the original Payback.
It was around the time there was 3 or 4 different Paybacks trying to just come out that year.
Yeah, I definitely remember listening to it whenever he put it out.
Because there's also a Payback. Like, there's obviously the big Payback XXX, and then there's a Payback that was from the DC area.
Damn.
So
maybe people should look for names online before.
I had them because Dead Air did one comp ever, and the Payback DC was on that. So no, like there's some stuff that definitely went on. I'm going back to the other comp though.
Go to the third one.
Go to the third.
This is actually our 4th comp.
I didn't.
We did a This Is Hardcore comp in like 2012 because we had a booth there.
I checked out the. I've heard the name Out of Time, but I was like looking. I was like, I didn't realize there was like a straight like Crown of Thorns ripoff font going on with.
Oh
this.
my, dude! Out of Time was so good, and it was a real bummer because we put that record out, and then the drummer moved to Richmond, and they broke up like right after we put out the record. And those are all my homies from St. Louis, so that was a big bummer.
Have you been so far? Have you been pretty pleased with like any feedback from this?
Oh yeah, this one's not going as quickly as the second one did, but I think it's just because of what we're dealing with right now. I know personally, I listen to way more music like at work or on my drive to work because I'm at a computer all day. So like this one, it like took off real fast at the beginning, and then it's just kind of slow. But like with the second one, that one was like it sold out of the tapes in 2 days.
Yes.
And I think it has to do with a lot of people lost their jobs. It's okay though, because all the money's going to charity anyway. So like, I'm not biting the bullet on anything. All the stuff is being donated, so it's not like I have to. I'm not paying anything out of pocket.
Yeah. Unfortunately, through weird channels, I'm waiting for a lot of, like, I have money expecting. It's like, cause I'm like, oh fuck. One thing I do want to do is buy some records and buy some tapes while I'm here. But like, because of this mess, it's screwed up some shit for me. And I've had, paychecks not come in and like waiting on some, unemployment shit while I'm here. And I'm like, fuck, I'm just like sitting here twiddling my thumbs and waiting for people to get their shit together.
Yeah, I totally understand that because my job had like a stay-at-home order. Well, actually, the entire like county that I live in. So we were non-essential. So I've just been sitting for like 2 weeks, and I don't go back until the 27th of this month.
Yeah,
maybe.
I'm like at a part-time level, so like, cause I am full-time, but they had to like, to try to keep some people actually like employed. They had to give some shifts away, give some of my shifts away just for like, until this all blows over. So I'm like only there for like 3 days a week.
Yeah, that sucks, but at least you still have a part-time job.
Yeah, and I'm not complaining because it's definitely like everybody's got some different like situations going on down here.
Exactly.
So like
I'm very thankful I have freelance design to like fall back on because I'd be screwed right now.
Yeah, and I still like I do like engineering too for like and records and do like studio work here. So I'm like there's little stuff to do around here too. Like people have commissioned for some projects around the studio. So
Yeah.
I'm like there's
Anything helps.
Yeah, that's one thing. And I know like James from Time and Pressure was talking about just like if anybody's really hurting and in the gig economy and need to do DoorDash, like that the tips have been really generous lately. So that, and they've been doing a lot of the bonuses as well. So
yeah, I saw that.
I haven't got to that point because I have a kid to take care of too at home.
Yeah, I've got two, so I understand.
I'm trying to figure out other angles and I'm trying to not go out and keep everyone safe. If you got to make your money, make your fucking money. But if you can afford,
it sucks that we as a country have to actually like think about that. Like, do we put ourselves and our family at risk to be able to survive? Like, it just sucks that that's a thing we have to think about.
Well, thanks to scummy landlords.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Bail out all the banks. Bail out the banks and the landlords.
Hallelujah.
Whatever. Not to be negative on the timeline, right?
It's all good. I'm not too worried about it. But yeah, like I said, if I have some of the favorite tracks on the first listen of this, let me get this shit out. Where did it go? Tab. Where are you, tab? Huh. It went away. Definitely that the End It track. Pummel also was one that that struck me. I'm trying to get this back. I'm like seeing where did it go? Let me get back to your Bandcamp. I don't know how it exited out of that, but yeah, I really liked. I've already really liked the stuff from FOM, and I thought that was a super strong track to start out the comp.
Yeah, they sent me the lyrics and like they were wanting to release a track early, and I was like, yeah, let's do that. Because Bandcamp announced that they were going to like waive all the fees for like a certain day, and they sent me the lyrics, and I was like, yeah, let's do this. This will be the first track because these lyrics fit really well with like what the comp, all the money is going to. So that's why I was like, let's put that up. And I'm really glad that we put that and the other 4 songs up first, just to kind of promote that it was coming. Because that first day we did really good numbers with just those 5 tracks up, which was awesome. I think we raised like $200 or $300 in the first day, so that was cool.
Yeah, I'll have to re-listen to some other. Is there some other ones that you which ones are like ones that you never like
standouts?
Yeah, like I don't want to do standouts as much as ones that you've never like that you just randomly stumbled upon for this one.
So towards the end, like I had an initial list and I messaged a bunch of bands, and there was like a ton that didn't get back or like they couldn't do it. So I had like a couple days to come up with a couple more extra bands to throw on. And I did like just search some tags on Bandcamp and I found No Brainer. And that band's from Australia. They're from Perth, and they have that like mental locking out style mixed with like Down to Nothing, like old Down to Nothing, and like Kids Like Us, just like blended. And that's like what I like started to really get into with hardcore, was like that kind of style. So like I really like that track. Another good track is Insecurity. They're from France. Like just fast youth crew style hardcore. I was really stoked to find them. I'm trying to think who else is on this one. Placeholder were my friends, so it was really cool to get to put them on it. Primitive Rage, and they're another band from here, from where I live now. So it was cool to get another local band on it. Same with One, they're from here. I'm trying to think who else is on it. Of course, the End It track is great. Pummel.
Yeah,
Strict with some real ignorant music.
Oh yeah, I got to re-listen to that because that one that was like on the heavier tip. There was that, and like I think Church Tongue was heavier from what I remember.
Yeah, I definitely try to touch all the bases with like trying to get all the different genres of hardcore and make sure everyone's kind of got something to listen to. The Big Left cover track of Die Cruisin' is really good. That band, they're from Milwaukee too. They're really freaking good. Trying to think who else is on there.
Yeah, I like the Crowbar cover.
Oh yeah, Strangle You. And Prevention's another. It's cool to have them on it because when my old band was playing in Springfield, Illinois, that's where we were from. A couple of those members, they grew up watching my old band play, so it was really cool to be able to put them on this. I thought that was cool.
I've listened to a little bit of 3 Week Old Roses, and I know a lot of people. There's quite a few people that actually like that band too.
Oh yeah, they have like a half heart kind of sound. Implied Risk, that track was really good. I'm trying to think. Head Count, Decline recorded a new song. It was cool because they just got a new vocalist, so it was cool to be able to get them on it. Even though like there's a couple bands that they had stuff at the studio, but they couldn't get to the studio because of obviously what's going on. So it was really neat that they actually made it happen like a couple days after.
Well, I would like boast to say that this is like probably one of my favorite current, like these Underdog comps are my favorite of any comps that are coming out right now, because they're like, you're putting a lot of time into them.
Oh my gosh, I put so much time into this.
It seems very genuine. There's some comps, like I've had bands on comps, and it's just as simple, and I've done it too. Like where I did a submit here, and I picked some bands that I liked, but you also like took a lot of time, like where there is like those ones that the big ones that we listened to growing up, there is that then that intentional thinking of how you want to really put this together and what makes a hardcore comp unique. Just like with like the New York hardcore comps that came out in the late 80s, they took a lot of it. It took a lot of time, or I mean, they had to personally talk to all of the fucking bands because no internet. Came up and like and they figure that out, and they've become through that legendary and not purposely taste making.
I feel like I was a huge punisher with all of these bands on this thing because I messaged everyone so much. Because the first emails I sent, I was getting people like telling me they never got an email because I was like, hey, did you get that email from me? So a lot of the emails were going to people's spams. And like some people just didn't get it, and I was just like, oh my God. So I was like messaging people on Instagram, Facebook, all over the place. I probably had like 6 or 7 rough drafts of like bands that replied and bands that didn't reply and bands to talk to. It was just so much. Like this one took me way longer than the second one. But a lot of like, as soon as I asked the bands, like once they actually got through, they were like, yeah, let's do it. The bands that said no, the only reason they said no is because they didn't have time to get to the studio. They didn't want to submit an old track, stuff like that. So it was cool that people actually wanted to be a part of it. It's a lot easier to ask people now after the success of the second one.
Well, also you have people doing original tracks like those older hardcore comps where a lot of the stuff is just not all those comps are original picks for like the stuff that we listened to growing up. It's just it's just they've been able to get the best song off of the record, get it on a CD, and get it into a store where people can get it more accessible. Like accessibly. This is like, I think, true to the hardcore spirit with what you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, growing up with like those Atticus comps, the Rock Against Bush comps, and like Punkorama, I just remember there would be like a little asterisk that was like exclusive or unreleased or something like that. And I was like, as soon as I was putting together the first comp, I was like, I want to try to get as many exclusive tracks as we can. And the second one, the first one we got a good handful of exclusive ones. The second one we got way more. But this one, I think we only had 3 or 4 tracks that were released already. But like one of them was like a re-recorded version, so it didn't really even count because it was a brand new recording of it. So it's pretty neat that we had so many people actually like go out of their way to get into the studio to do this.
Absolutely. No, I can't wait to give this a further listen. I think what you do is an important service. I think it came out at a perfect time in just the world, even though it's not coming out, and even though it's not like maybe the initial, like, I think the problem is there's so much media right now. There's a lot of stuff. A lot of people are trying to prioritize because they're like, fuck, this is like once this is over, I need to get back to life and back to my job.
Exactly.
And right
That's
now,
why it's nice because whenever I get back to work, I can put the order in for these tapes because I actually work at the place that makes the cassette tapes. So we got like a couple more weeks for people to buy them before I actually have to put the order in. So that's nice. I know personally of 2 other compilations that are coming out where the money's going to charity. So there's definitely going to be a lot of music for people to catch up on.
Yeah, and just like, in my brain, it's just like there's like some things like I'm trying to catch up with all the new shit. Also want to listen and watch some shit I haven't watched in a long time.
Exactly.
I'm doing my best to keep up like during this time and just get like I'm doing the forgotten hardcore stuff with Devin and just like I'm just trying to get to get my library all set up and have all that like nostalgic shit because I've been on of it. I think a lot of people have been on this nostalgic tip. Like once Devin talked about this,
that's my livelihood.
Yeah, once Devin started talking about that, I've been just like getting my kicks by posting old most of my like interactions in my like Facebook, like the Dead Air Facebook group has just been old Northwest hardcore stuff like over and over and over again.
There's so many good old Northwest hardcore bands. So many good ones.
Yeah, and I'm hoping for a future of good ones because we were doing really good. We were starting to get some momentum back right before the.
What do you guys have? Change isn't Change from Seattle.
Change is a Northwest hardcore band, and they're it's also helps that Aram, who from Champion
Betrayed Champion, the GOAT.
Yeah, doing and also members of like Keep It Clear and stuff are like put together a super group in that same kind of vein of what
exactly
like basically just rebranding of what they know. They know what they know what they're doing, and
you don't need to change it. It's good enough.
They've kept. They also have that song with the reggae part, which is fucking.
Yeah, that was cool.
They played it live, and it was super good. And I was like, this is it. It translated really good live too.
I hope they hit the Midwest. I'd love to see them.
Yeah. Also, bands. Now that we're talking about stuff in Northwest, Real is a really fucking good band. I've heard them. I think Dev showed me them because they played with them on tour. I think. Members of Safe and Sound, Singled Out, stuff, and
I remember that band.
Yeah, they did.
I remember that band.
Yeah, there's a lot of remember.
Damn.
Also, By All Means is one of my favorite ones.
That band rocks.
Young dudes doing some fucking cool hardcore, all native, fucking
That's awesome.
sick as shit. So, doing New York hardcore, some fucking justice. So it's almost time for me to head to work. So
And I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna go sit down on my computer and work on some layouts.
So to finish this up a little bit. So besides the comp and the dog ear stuff, you have a you do design. You also have started your own podcast. You want to talk about those little things real quick?
Yeah, so I do graphic design like as a side hustle. Eventually it'll be like a full-time thing. I did the Rejection Pack 7-inch layout. I did the Time and Pressure layout, LP layout stuff. I do a lot of stuff for Safe Inside Records. So if you picked up a record from them, I probably had some type of hand in the layout or anything with it. So I just finished a layout for Life Force for their new LP and then one for Thumb too. So there's a lot of stuff coming out that I'm excited to actually share. But that's what I do as my side hustle. And then I originally started my podcast to talk about art, but it kind of just turned into me talking about whatever I want. Try to keep it positive and talk about good things that are happening in people's lives. And that's basically it. That's basically what I do, and I'm a full-time dad.
Same. I'm just
and it rocks. I love my kids. This quarantine has actually helped a ton because I actually get to see them. I don't have to go to work. It's nice.
My problem is there's so much. I gotta get tomorrow. I'm gonna spend most of the day just like going out, like hang out maybe at my parents' house and like go and out to their yard and play and so she can play with the dog and stuff because it was
rough,
fine.
yeah.
It was fine for 3 weeks and now it's this week.
It gets hard.
This fourth week with the 7-year-old, it's gotten pretty like bad at some points. Where
Does she kind of understand what's going on?
she kind of understands what's going on, but she also thinks she's like she has a feeling this is going to be forever, and I'm like, it's not.
Oh, gosh,
and I'm
that's
like,
so sad.
yeah, she's
How
like,
do you explain to them because you don't even know?
exactly. She said if this happens when I'm a teenager, I'm going to make sure there's only 10 people in my store. And I'm like,
my gosh.
I was like, that sucks. I'm like, how do you like?
My son is like, he's 2 and he just wants to go outside and he wants to see his grandma and grandpa and he just keeps saying, Nina, Papa. And I'm like, I'm sorry, buddy, we can't go anywhere. So we have to like, he plays on like the front porch and the back porch because we live in like an apartment complex. And then there's like little kids on their porches and he'll just scream at them. He'll be like, hi, hi. It's so sad, but like at least he's interacting with other kids, even though he's not like playing with them per se.
Yeah, it's
Oh man, rough times to have kids right now.
dude, it's so fucking rough. Like,
But think about when they're older and you get to tell them about what they went through.
yeah, but like, she's doing well, and she's very calm about it. But times it does get bad where like there feels like there's been a regression of 2 years because she's been in school for 2 years and she's doing little habits of what she used to do when she lived at home all the time, when she didn't go to school, and then like trying to hide food under like like food that she does not want.
It's
like in
she's
the
saving
cracks
it for later.
No, she's not. She's straight up trying to hide the evidence.
I definitely know how that goes.
And I'm just
Definitely been there before.
I was just like, damn. I'm just like, for some food, I was like, you know, if it's vegan and you don't like it, I will eat it.
Just give it to me.
Just give it to me. There's ones I'm just like, you don't want your French fries?
Man.
Hand them over. Don't.
Everyone wants fries. Come on.
No, she does, but she.
Oh yeah, they get full faster.
She's a bored eater too, so her eyes are always bigger than her stomach, and she just like keeps wanting stuff, and then we gotta be the bartender. We gotta cut her off.
My son is a grazer, so he'll just like go over each plate and just grab stuff, and then he'll have his plate full of other people's food.
That's half my friends growing up. Anytime we go out, that's
Same.
That's one thing I don't miss about socializing is just like, I was like,
I wish
I had the demeanor of like some of my other friends, like in high school, of like they knew they didn't have money and they somehow like could give you that smile and like steal your mozzarella stick off your plate when you're at Applebee's or something. And I was just like,
now I want mozzarella sticks. Way to go. Wait, I think we have a box in the fridge. I might have to cook some of those for a midnight snack.
At this hour, there's not much.
It's 12:30 here.
Yeah, it's 10:30. The only thing open, I try to hit Del Taco on the way.
Oh man, I miss Del Taco. We had one in St. Louis, and it disappeared and turned into a Chipotle. And it was like super crazy. Yeah, it was super crazy. It looked like a big UFO.
Chipotle is nowhere near as good.
No, it's not, and it's more expensive.
Let's not pretend like it is, people.
It's not.
Okay.
False. Qdoba's better than Chipotle.
True. Actually true, but also Chipotle, I do like the sofritas. Like that stuff is
The sofritas rock.
I'd rather have the sofritas than the impossible meat that they use at their shit. But enough of that. I gotta get my ass to work. What are some where's some last minute things you wanna any last words? Talk about Dog Years records and other shit.
Go do a deep dive on Dog Years if you haven't checked our stuff out before. There's a lot of hidden gems that don't get talked about, kind of to go along with what you and Dev talk about. There's a lot of forgotten stuff on there. Personally, if I were to pick 3 for anyone to check out, I would listen to Jig, which is members of Inclination. What is that band? Wrist Meets Razor. It's Brian from those 2 bands. He did vocals for it. Super cool, fast punk. The other band would be New Deal, which is kind of that locking out style. It features Thomas from Dying for It on drums. I didn't know that until a couple years ago. I think like 2 years ago. He's like, I'm a Dog Years alum, right? I had no idea.
I didn't know that till right now.
New Deal was awesome. And then check out, actually I'll give you 2 more. On Point, The Anti-Cool, or Year in Fear. Both of them rock. If you like that like incendiary style vocals with like the bouncy down to nothing rival mob kind of stuff.
I love all those bands.
Featuring members of Gideon and Counterparts.
What the fuck?
Yeah. Yep.
What a strange turn.
Yeah, you got to check it out. It's really good. And then the other one I'm going to say is it was members of Better Times from Buffalo and Young Turks and Focus Minds, and they were called Climate.
Oh shit! Yep. No, that band was really fucking good.
I know, and the 7-inch was so fucking good.
Short-lived.
Broke up. Yeah, very short-lived. They were writing a new record. We were going to put it out, and then they broke up.
That band, yeah, they came out around the same time. Cutting Through and Climate did a small stint
they
together.
Did a little run together. Yep.
And they played with what's a fucking good ass hardcore band? Freedom. They did a show with Freedom here in Seattle. And
they played with Dying for It too. So I remember Thomas telling me about it.
It was pretty fucking good.
But yeah, as far as Dog Years goes, that's what I'm saying. Pick up the new Jocko record when it comes out.
I'm excited for that. That's gonna be fucking.
Yeah, I don't know when it's coming because of everything that's going on, but we'll post updates, I'm sure. Pick up Underdogs 3. If you can't pay for it, download it. It's free. Just enter 0. Listen to it. Go listen to all those bands separately. Like their pages. Support other hardcore bands. Support other hardcore labels. Community over competition. And that's what I have to say.
So down.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Oh, well, enjoy your day at work.
Yeah, you too, man.
Thanks for taking the time to talk to me. I appreciate you reaching out.
Yeah, I only get one chance to really come out a week, so so make the most of it.
I appreciate it. Well, I appreciate me being involved in your week.
Yeah.
Sometimes I wish I could just disappear. Vanish from this earth without even a trace of existence. Lost in bucket or so loud, saying no one will miss me. I'm walking home. much, I'm losing touch. This is my crutch, this is my crutch. I can't do much, I'm losing touch. I can't do much. Anticipate that I'm too late. This is my fate, this is my fate. Anticipate that I'm too late. I anticipate. This is my fear, all I hold dear will disappear, disappear, all I hold dear. This is my fear, this is my fear, this is my fear. I'm flipping, I'm flipping, and there's nothing minor that you will do to keep me standing. I'm flipping, I'm flipping. Something I never wanted to be.
All right, we're back. You're listening to Dead Air, 2 hours of hardcore radio. Shout out to Chris and Dog-Eared Records. This is going to be, the rest of the set's going to be all dog-ear stuff. This is a dog-ear episode. I mean, you got to support like something cool like this where it's all community-minded as far as all the money is going to good places, as well as really having a place for newer bands and putting together such a cool comp with bands working really hard to put out original music just for this comp alone, and not just a bunch of random, collection of songs over the years. I know, I did a comp and I didn't know what I was doing. I still appreciate everyone who I guess gave a song to the comp, and that was really cool because it did raise money to our the president of our little station here was going through issues about 2 years ago when his daughter had cancer, and we were able to donate a little money to that, and that was really cool. And she is currently his granddaughter is currently cancer free. I don't know if I said daughter or granddaughter. It was granddaughter. So stuff like that is cool, but I think Chris and Dog Ears does a really, really good job at what they do. So let's get to the music. We started off with a band from Arizona on the newest Dog Ears comp called Point Break from Arizona. Just a fucking mosh band if you haven't heard Point Break. They currently do stuff through Irish Voodoo Records. Probably my favorite band on the label currently. So give that a check. I think they were going to be in Washington, but I don't remember. I feel like they were going to be here before this all happened. Up next, we had a band called Church Tongue, also on the comp. They had a track called The Guilt of You. It was very melodic, very heavy. Man, it's hard for me to really pat down what I'm. It's metalcore. It's definitely has a heavier tinge on it. Really, really high production. So it has some leads that remind me of kind of like some Misery Signal stuff that's going on, but also it's a bit heavier. So it's definitely, I would call it melodic versus metalcore, heavy metalcore. But I don't know if I have the perfect description for this band. So if you do like bands like Misery Signals or like heavy, like this is definitely much like more metallic and heavier version of that, a little bit slower and chuggier. So check that out. Church Tongue. On the more melodic and kind of pop punk side, we have Placeholder. They're not to be mistaken with the band that came out in the early 2010s, pop punk band from Pennsylvania. This is a band from St. Louis, Missouri that kind of plays more of a Lifetime style of melodic hardcore. Definitely this song reminds me of more of a brighter and like pop punkier Lifetime song. So it definitely, and Lifetime is definitely in the genre of pop punk. I would say probably my favorite band. Like they're the only band that has really stuck with me over the years. So it's definitely, there's some different stuff in there, but definitely in that lane. And then we have Gum with Slipping. There's definitely a heavy post-punk vibe. Very obviously New Order, Joy Division-y. And I'm not a post-punk expert, so I'm just gonna stop with the obvious ones. But when I hear something like that, it's really good. It's just a really nice, smooth sound. I think it really ties the sound together for what's going on. Like there's so much heavy, fast, punk, pop punk, and then having a nice like kind of post punk sound on this comp is, I think, a very good contrast, and just kind of evens out all the sounds and touches all the bases. So Gum's really good. And we're going to get to another track right now from a band that I've talked about a lot. We've had them on the show. Jocko. Talked to Cameron weeks and weeks ago. Sometime at the beginning of the year, they were going to be here. I think I've already mentioned that they were going to be here like right around now, sometime around right now. And it's a little bit of a bummer. But their second newest track, Wise Man, is on this Dog Ears comp, and I know it's like hard, like you don't want to be completely compared to Rage Against the Machine with bands, because lots of hardcore bands get compared to, but this is like one of the closest examples, like this song alone, that any like band has ever done for me. Like obviously there's other hardcore influences, but like it sounds so much like a Rage Against the Machine song, and in the best possible way. So we're gonna play. Yeah, we're gonna play. Did I say what the title of the placeholder? Placeholder was Sickness and Health, and Gum was Slipping. And now we're gonna play Wise Man by Jocko, and we'll see what we'll have time for. We won't have time for that much. So we'll be back. You listen to Dead Air 2 Hours of Hardcore Radio.
Wise man made the medicine, a futile attempt to pass a pendulum. Move to the next temporary remedy, living in the ripple effect, let it begin. The souls wither around my way. Nobody's safe, nobody's safe. See, a premonition on my mind. You couldn't look me in the eye, tell me who's really wise. It's not you. See all the lies we fly in vain. Time and time again, despite the same shit. Tell me who's really wise. Walk around and somehow call your action dignified. Who's really wise? Is it you? Who's really wise? Talk that shit and still you call your action dignified. Who's really wise? Not you. Spirit to brave, you crave more and more. It ain't hard to tell you are who you are. Tell me who's really wise. You know the time. Time of the essence. Time was once precious. Time is running out. You know the time. Time of the essence. Time was once precious. Time is running out. Wise man made the medicine, a futile attempt to pass a pendulum. Move to the next, a temporary remedy. We living in the ripple effect. Let it begin. You know about the medicine, an attempt to pass a pendulum. That temporary remedy. We living in the ripple effect. Use for your keep. The frustration commands you. The black by the thought. The struggle continues. I know nothing about you. I feel like a fraud. Cause what makes me sick, I'm still awake. Breath is still awake. Open the cast out someplace other than the dark. I'm final dead. Just to see what you see. I can't wait. I get it, I get it, I get it. You wanna be seen. Revel in the success they bring. Open your mind, open your eyes. We walk a different path, you and I. I spent the last year jumping in my teeth. You can ask how is it, these cuts are deep. Taking down opinions on sinking shit. But the words in my heart like that key lip. I spent the last year stretching out my lungs just so I can think with confidence and talk myself. Wasn't happy, hell of a place to live. In the backseat of your car, the good what makes me sick. Let me. Road But what we love, stability divided one below in the club. Deep breathing in the dream we can never achieve. The reality of demons are dead set on torturing me. So I face to the head on, awaiting upon the man. I wouldn't ever begin to expect it for your world to ever understand. I will never be set aside. Overcoming torture, defeating all opposition. Overcoming torture, liberation for all these victims. I will never be set aside. I will never be set aside. Set aside. The sinking feeling in me rising again and again. Shake the feeling, try as hard as I can. And every day it's getting harder to go. Surrounded by success while I'm barely staying afloat. And now I'm stuck. Trap myself inside of myself, alone with all of my thoughts. Only person I can blame is myself. But I've got nowhere to turn. Time for good, the bridges were burned. Dump myself into this grave with the buckle I learned. Bleeding, begging, reaching for help, with no one to turn to except for myself. Making amends through choked tears, but tired words only fall on deaf ears. I don't know where else to turn. Call out your name, and you just let me burn. Yeah. When I reached out a hand for your warm thought, only felt a shoulder so cold. Never finding my way out of this mess, 'cause in the dark you can't tell gold from gold.
All right, finishing up episode 89 of Dead Air. So, once again, this is all fucking Dog Years Records releases. We started off this last set with Pummel from Boston area. Got some Boston, obvious Boston influences in there. Also a little bit, maybe a little bit groovier. Some of it's pretty heavy at times as well. This song was called Illusion of Choice. After that, from San Diego, California, members of Drug Control. At least one member, guitarist Danny, cool dude, always supporter of Northwest Hardcore, and Drug Control is a fucking good band, and so is this band, Head Count. So we played it's a 17-second track, Us Against Them, but like we said a little bit earlier, it's a good fucking track. So after that, we have 3-Week-Old Roses, who I've listened to a little bit. I've played tracks in here and there, and this one really struck me because I was like, I really took the time to really listen, and I'm like, this feels like the new Have Heart. I don't know. I can't speak for the lyrically, but as far as what they're trying to capture musically and sonically, it just sounds exactly like it sounds like Have Heart. Like, it has a little bit of Pat Flynn inflection in there, and I'm definitely hearing it, and I'm no Have Heart hater, so I can see why people like 3-Week-Old Roses, and why people who may have never heard Have Heart might be drawn to them, especially because melodic hardcore is starting to make a turn, as you can tell from some of the bands in this comp. We're gonna, after that, we kind of turned to some releases outside of the comp. We played End on End, which is one of the most recent releases on the label. Actually, yeah, it is. Actually, yeah, with besides Gum and Direct Measure, it's one of the 3 ones that got released about a year ago. This band, punk, hardcore, good band that I wouldn't have found unless Dog Ears dug it up. Straight Edge from Oklahoma. After that, we played some deep cuts. We played Alone, which is members of Rejection Pact. Devin does vocals on this band. We played them 5+ years ago on Dead Air when we were at the college radio station, and it's good stuff. It was fun. It reminds me of the times where I really fucked up doing a live set for the band. How much time I got? Okay, I still have a couple minutes. I'm just making sure, because I gotta make way for my boss. My boss is doing some projects in here. So we played No Youth. It's definitely, if you've listened to Rejection Pact and haven't listened to this band, it's definitely super melodic. Definitely an outlier for the time, because 2014 there were no bands doing melodic hardcore like this, or especially regionally, not much going on. After that is another band from around that time. These 2 songs are on the first Underdogs comp. This next one is on the Underdogs comp as well. Vulgar Display, Overcoming Torture. I got to see this band once before they kind of just faded away like most bands do. A very groovy crossover band from Texas who was on tour with Cross Me roughly 2014 and has made a pretty big impact. I've heard a lot of Texas bands big up Vulgar Display and still them have a big influence on them, and they were a very fucking good band, and I could have saw them get bigger. So after that, we played Out of Time, the band I talked about that had the Crown of Thorns font. Not much information to be said about this band, but we played the 3rd track on their 2015 release, That's self-titled Out of Time. We played Cole from Gold. And then we're going to finish it up with the Gel cover of SSD, Like Glue. And we're going to, real quick, since I have I'm out of time, so we will see you on the next episode. Make sure to follow us on the socials, Dead Air NWCZ on both Instagram and Twitter, Dead Air Hardcore Radio, Facebook.com/Dead Air Hardcore Radio. And we have a Dead Air Hardcore Radio Facebook group that you can join. And we have Dead Air NWCZ at gmail.com is our email. And deadairhardcoreradio.com is where you can find everything. So go to deadairhardcoreradio.com. And we'll be back. You can go to our Spotify's. We're on Spotify, Apple Music, and Google Play. I have a new episode that has Devin from Rejection Pack where we talk about, we do a part 1 of 2 where we're going to be talking about forgotten hardcore bands and what you think is a forgotten hardcore band. If you have a spot, if you want to chime in and be a part of it and you have forgotten hardcore bands you want us to talk about, Dead Air NWCZ at gmail.com. So, all right. See you next time. This is Gel with their SSD cover.